you're not that good now.
Well, I don't really play as much bass anymore. Now I do film music and I do it all on keyboards. It's mostly orchestral stuff that I do. So, but back in the days, that's all I did, because that's all I had was 2 basses, and I was practicing, all day, every day, like 8 hours at least 6 to 8 hours. I always had the TV on silent, always like, and but we all did back then, that's what everybody did. And yeah, then I went to Monaco with, borrowed some money from my mother or something and flew over there. And I played on that record that I can't remember.
Rieckermann.
No, it was not that. It was some guitar player. I can't remember his name. He was actually really good, except Herman. I mean, the drums were over here, the guitar was over here, and the click was somewhere in the middle, and I was trying to manage to play in there somewhere, and that it was kind of a little messy, the music. Was a little bit all over the place. So I played, and like 3 days later, I walked by his office. First of all, I get picked up by this big, golden, whatever, Rolls Royce limousine or something. I'm like, whoa. Then he had this huge villa.
In Monaco.
Yeah, in Monaco, this huge white villa right on the beach, like multi-million-dollar house, that, and all these golden platinum records everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like in music heaven. And this guy had a studio in there with with overlook the whole ocean and everything. And so after the 3rd day, I walked by the office, and he's like talking to the rest of the guys from the Scorpions. He's like, I overhear him, guys, I think I found the perfect guy. This guy plays like you never heard a bass player like that play before, and he even looks like our old guy Francis, and he's German, lives in America. You guys got to meet him. So a week and a half later, I went with him to Germany. I met the rest of the guys, and the rest is history.
Right, yeah. But are you considering to play again music, or just we're going to keep composing?
I'm playing music. Composing is making music. The only difference now, another thing that happened in the music industry, when I grew up, it was about art. If you look at albums like, Dark Side of the Moon, for example, okay? Yeah, that is not about songs. That's a piece of art. It's a piece of music from beginning to end.
It's a concept. It's not just one song.
Well, it's a piece of art, Right. Same with this album from Genesis. What was it, a Broadway? What was it called again? Well, there was a whole bunch of them. Records. It was just songs were about, having something to say, making art. Now, these days, if you listen to the stuff out there, it's all the same blah, blah, blah. You go to a nightclub here in LA, you hear the same music everywhere, and it's all like, and it's all like blah, 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 blah. It's just like nothing. It's a whole bunch of nothing. Just like TV. It's all reality shows. It's a sign of the times, okay? Times change, you have to adapt. But I don't think it's making anybody smarter. I think a big dumbing down is happening, not only in the TV industry, also in the music industry. And I'm just not interested in writing songs, because now these days, what a record company, even if you get lucky to work with a record company, all they want from you is a hit song. That's all they're interested in. Nobody's interested in making a great record anymore. Nobody cares, because there's too much stuff out there. And the only thing that counts is, of course, making money, selling the stuff. And how do you sell the stuff if you have a hit record? What I do, I have to work for someone else. I have to please a film company, I have to please a director, producers. They all have to sign up on my music, but I can be creative. My work is very artistic.
Right.
It's a very hard work. I now work harder than ever in my life on music, because, writing a 5-minute song of 4.5 minutes is one thing, but writing 1.5 hours of full orchestration by yourself, that's a whole different ballgame. You sit there for a month every day, 10 hours. But it has something to do with art. It's deep, it's spiritual, and, you can be very creative, and you're your own boss. You know, nobody tells you, okay, you have to sound like Lady Gaga. We want something that sounds like the last song that Bon Jovi released.
It's a different impression because there's pressure, there's deadline, there's a commitment you make when you compose.
Plus,
but it's not.
No, plus it says my name. It doesn't say, this band or that band or whatever. In my case, Scorpions, 5 guys. It's my name. It's my composition. I own all the rights, and it's just for me more, in a spiritual way, it's just more creative and more satisfying to me.
Are you a spiritual person?
Isn't out there now. What?
Are you a spiritual person?
Of course I am. I think almost every musician that takes music serious, or every artist that takes art serious, has to be somewhat spiritual. In what direction? I don't think, I think religion can be very dangerous. I think being spiritual is a good thing, but pointing your finger or labeling things, saying, okay, I call this, and what, I don't want to name anything. This is what it's called. I am right, you are wrong.
Right.
That's where all the problems in words start.
Yeah.
So, but spiritual, of course. I mean, all you have to do is walk through the forest and look at nature, look at anything that has been created on this planet. I mean, even look at yourself in the mirror. Everything is a wonder. We have no answers for anything, and it's the whole universe is just like it's very spiritual, it's very, very, I don't know, but again, and people ask me a lot of times, what do you believe in? I always tell them, I believe in everything and I believe in nothing. Because I believe that everything, I believe in every religion a little bit, I believe in every theory a little bit, even if it's alien or the craziest shit or whatever. I can relate to it, but can I prove it? Have I seen it? Have I touched it? No, I haven't. Has anybody else? I don't think so.
There's something useful and useless in every, religion or beliefs, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's everybody's choice. Everybody should make this choice for themselves. But like I said, I just believe that it's dangerous to put labels on things and, pretending that, that whatever you believe in is the right thing. Because a lot of people that are very spiritual, I don't want to say religious now, but extremely spiritual. One of them, it's Osama bin Laden, for example. He's very, very spiritual, okay? But he thinks that he's so right that he thinks that other people need to die.
Yeah.
Where does it start? Where does it end?
Right, yeah.
For me, so I don't put any labels on anything. I always say I believe in everything and in nothing.
Okay. About your life, what is the best reward you had playing with Scorpions? Is girls, fame, money, or gold, albums? If you have to name something material.
Materialistic.
Yeah.
I've never been a materialistic guy because I come from a pretty wealthy family, and that was not exactly always a happy family, I have to say, unfortunately, because my life when I grew up was all about work, money, and success. That's all everybody cared about. There was a lot of screaming going on. There was not a lot of love, not a lot of understanding, no passion for art whatsoever, no passion for anything, really. I mean, all it was like when you came home from school, what have you done today? What are you going to do today? Like when it comes to work or making money or like blah, 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 this kind of stuff. So, materialistic, I mean, and
if you can name something that you moved,
when I started making money with the Scorpions, when I first got my first Mercedes, I was excited for about like 2 months driving that car, but that fades away fast. When I bought my first houses like here in the hills, I was excited for like a couple of years, but in the end you're more excited showing it to other people than you enjoy it yourself.
Right.
Things don't last very long. Like I always say, like a car lasts for like a month, a new house lasts for maybe like 3 months, but to me friendship real love and like passion, the joy of like making other people happy, being on stage, and that's really what did it for me, like traveling the world and having friends that you travel with. I mean, I wasn't best friends with everybody in the band, but I can say, I don't want to name any names, but I got very close to some of the band members that I still feel extreme closeness with. And, some more, some less.
Right.
And I think there's some very, very special people and very deep and spiritual and great characters in this band, very down to earth, very lovable people, and extremely, extremely special. And, to become friends and to travel with those people, to me, has been very, very special.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If they call you, they're going to probably play again here in at least once. If they call you to play a couple of songs, are you gonna play with them or probably?
We just they just had a concert here and I was there. They didn't ask me, and because I always have been pretty honest with when it comes to the Scorpions. Like when I first joined the band, for example, everybody always asked me in interviews, oh, you must have been a great fan, before you joined the band. I wasn't. I never was a big fan. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that entire music. Like I said before, I mean, I'm not a typical rock and roll guy. Yes, can I play rock and roll? Maybe not as good as others. I don't know. But I did it for a long time, and I think, we had a great chemistry, and I even wrote a song that got successful, at least here in America. But in the end, towards the end, we had musical differences. And that's kind of why it broke it off, because I did not like the direction that the band wanted to go in. They wanted to go back. After we did the album Eye to Eye, where the first song on there was Mysterious, that was my baby. And I remember we were sitting in the studio for like almost a week listening to music. Or to songs that everybody was writing, and the producer Peter Wolf, he got up after a few days and said, "You know what, guys, we need to sit down and write some music." And then me, the new guy, was like, "Can I please play something?" And I played this song, and it was really different. It was really completely different than anything the Scorpions has ever done. It was very groove orientated. It had like loops. It was like danceable.
Yeah.
And
I remember the change.
I played the song, got up, and Peter Wolf jumped out of his seat and said, "That is a hit song. If I heard one, we have to record this song immediately first." So we started, and the other guys weren't too crazy about it, because it was kind of like clubbish, but that's what I always missed in the Scorpions. Because whenever I went to, when you go to a nightclub, you hear Bon Jovi, you hear Aerosmith, you hear ZZ Top, you hear those bands, but you never hear a Scorpion song in a club, because you can't dance to the music. It doesn't have the it just doesn't have that groove that makes you want to dance.
Right.
The band never had that. And I thought if the band had that, it would have given the band the step to the next level.
Right.
And to me, the band always got kind of like stuck, on one level, and that after a while started bothering me, because every other band or every other musician in the world that I know, I call them trendsetters. Whether it's Prince, different style of music, but still Prince, Madonna. Even Michael Jackson, or take U2, perfect example. With every album, with every song that they released, they reinvented not only the way they look, their fashion, but also, their music. It always changed. They always tried new things. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't.
Right.
But at least they tried. So we tried that with the Eye to Eye one time, and it worked here in America. They released another song in Europe that did not work at all. It totally flopped, I think. We made an $800,000 video in England for it. I remember, what was the song called? I can't remember. Something with the president and his cigar. Whatever, doesn't matter. But Mysterious was here in the charts. It was one of the most played songs, since Winds of Change in radio. Here in LA, it was in the charts on number 3 in the Billboard charts. So it was fairly successful. And I my feeling was keep going in that direction.